Gerardo and Norman.
Money, power, strategy, intelligence, sacrifice. It's not the makings of a James Bond movie. It is what it takes for the Clover Park Technical College to provide us with quality education. Today, I will do a presentation that will show the meetings that I attended to, and it will give you an insight on how they acquire these things and make it work for us. The major points of my speech today are going to be our meeting with Shannon Connors and and Jane Hayes. They're both webmasters here at Clover Park Technical College. They work on Building 11, and our meeting was on February 17, 2012. We had a meeting with Dr. David Reiniger. She's the Executive Director of Resource Development here at Clover Park Technical College. She works on Building 19 on February 7, 2012. With Dr. Reiniger, we went to 3 different meetings. We went to the Clover Park Technical College Board of Trustees. This was a meeting at the Rotunda, which is on Building 3 here in the school, and we went on February 8, 2012. We went to a lunch meeting at the Rotary Club of Tacoma, number 8. This happened in downtown Tacoma at the Temple Theater, and it was on February 9th of 2012. And the last meeting that we went to was a lunch meeting of the Clover Park Technical College Foundation Executive Committee meeting at the Rainier Room, right back here, on the 21st of February of this year. First, let me start with the first meeting that I just described, which was our meeting with Sean Connors and Jane Hayes. These are very, very busy people. I did try to contact them several times, and the only way that I was able to contact them was through the help of Dr. Phil, which set up the appointment for us. They explained to us that they have very few contact as far as going to other meetings. Most of their meetings are done through the computers. But they're working on some special projects here in the school. They are the people that move technology to work for us. The current projects that they are working on are SharePoint. I really like that one because it is an intranet. By that I mean, let's say that you have a group that you're working with. You can create your project, give access to your project to the group, and the only people that can access that project is that group, and you don't have to be working at the same time. You do some of your job today, you can go ahead and change it tomorrow, and you can add some other things. The only people that are going to be able to change things in there is your group, and the only other person that will have access will be your instructor. There are too many for me to list and too little time for me to list it all. So I will hit the highlights of the ones that I like the best. The other one was CBTC Bill. This is just a game. Has any of you played Sims? It is exactly like Sims. What it does is piques the interest of high school students or people that are considering coming to a school here, and give them an idea of what college life will be here. As you can see, there are several other applications, but one other thing that really caught my attention was the value of tablets and the evaluation that they did of it. Everybody has seen that I do carry a tablet, like the iPad. So they brought it in as, well, is it a toy or is it a tool? The evaluation came out, and they decided that it's a very valuable tool. You can make it a toy, but it's a very valuable tool. And in the future, you will get one when you register at Clover Park Technical College. So basically, every student will have one. Pretty cool. One of the things that reminded me of how much he works is that he might not go to many speeches, but he's a person that thinks a lot. It reminds me of something that Tugut Granville, a speechwriter, once wrote. To deal with change, you have to communicate, and to communicate, you have to think. That is basically what the webmasters do in this school. Our second meeting that I'm talking about today is our initial meeting with Dr. Raniger. This was a very informal meeting. Basically, we explained to her what we needed from her, and she explained to us what she was expecting of us. At that moment, we set up the first two meetings, and later on, she invited us to a third one. The first of those meetings was a meeting with the Clover Park Technical College Board of Trustees. That was at the Rotunda on building number 3. I'm sure that Rich is pretty familiar with that because that's where the core of his classes are. And they have very precise points. It was very well organized. They have the Associated Student Government Report, the CPTC Foundation Report, Survey for Student Success Report, and the Statement of Revenue and Expenditures by Fund Sources. I would like to go into detail on all of these things, but again, we have some time constraints that doesn't allow me to. I'm just going to hit some highlights though. Okay. Each one that did a presentation, they did a very good job at it. They have very defined points, as you can see, the points of the ASG for their future projects and events. I'm going to skip a little bit over that because the next one is going to be a presentation that was given by our contact, Dr. Raniger. This was the Endowment Statistics and the 2011 Grant Report. Basically, she is the person that brings all of the donations to Clover Park Technical College. And she, with some other panels, basically decide how we're going to spend most of it in order for us to be in the positive side and not end in the red at the end of the year. She also gave another presentation that I really enjoyed, and this is something that is very important for all of us. It is a survey for student success report, and it was divided into demographics and survey responses. Demographics, we all know what it means, but the survey responses, that was the thing that really caught my eye here, because it talked about why people drop out of school, what are the biggest barriers that they have, and why people succeed at school. That way they can break down the barriers that make people drop out, and they can enhance those people that make people succeed, those things that make people succeed. The revenue of expenditures and fund sources. This was also part of her speech. And as I just stated, it talks about the statement of revenues and expenditures, the budget status summary by fund programs and objectives, and the budget status report by campus by fund. After that, we went the very next day to the Rotary Club of Tacoma, number 8. As you can see, most of the time we write the 8 in letters, but I left the 8 this way because it has some meaning for the Rotary Club. It's the infinity sign. Of course, infinity sign is sideways, but it's got meaning for them, and I didn't want to change their meaning. They have some real good points here. They were very thorough. And one of the things is that at the very end, there was a speech from Fran Sharp from the Tacoma Mountain Rescue Unit. She was very eloquent. Obviously, she really believed on what she was doing. And these are the people that saves lives whenever somebody gets lost in the mountains. She's the kind of people that reminded me that they are doing something to better the world, to change the world. And for that, it reminded me of the next point. It was Nick Morgan, another speechwriter, who once said, the only reason to give a speech is to change the world. If your speech has no meaning, there is no purpose. The last meeting that we went with Dr. Raniger was the lunch and Clover Park Technical College Foundation Executive Committee meeting at the Rainier room right back here. The points of the meeting were the President's report, Board of Directors annual contract, review conflict of interest, review financial actions provided at the last meeting, 2012 operations budget, scholarship and endowments statistics, an in-depth look at the survey for student success, the 2011 grants report, and the college president report. As you might have noticed, I'm speaking a lot faster than usual. You understand why. Everybody took a turn because every point was presented by a different person. It was very well organized. Each person that spoke had their own set of points that they needed to make. And at the very end, it was the college president report. And there's one thing, I didn't know what he even looked like. I didn't even know his name at the time. And that is the point of my very next slide, because I imagine some of you don't know who he is. And that is him, Dr. John Wallstrom. He's the president of Clover Park Technical College. So if you see him, now you know who he is. Don't go trying to bum a cigarette off of him or something. Now, all these speeches that I went through, I was looking up at something that I could really identify with, and those speeches could identify to. And I found Michael Edenmuller, a third speechwriter, who wrote, in almost open defiance of our lesser selves, a single speech, eloquently styled and forcefully delivered at a critical moment in time, still carries near mystical power to transform everything. There is not a thing that I can add to that. Basically, that says why we took this class. At this point, I hope that you have understood my initial points and what I was trying to relate to everyone in this class. Our meetings with Sean Connors and Gene Hayes, both webmasters here. Our meeting with Dr. Debbie Reniger, the Executive Director of Resource Development. Our meetings with the Clover Park Technical College Board of Trustees. Our lunch meeting at the Rotary Club of Tacoma, number 8. And the lunch meeting with the Clover Park Technical College Foundation Executive Committee. Before I turn over the other side of the presentation to my partner here, Norman Riley, who is going to speak about the humanitarian side, I would like to leave you with the combined mottos of the Clover Park Technical College Foundation and the the Rotary Club of Tacoma, number 8. Empower, invest, grow. Service before self. And here's my partner.